Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for another vegan and almost gluten-free recipe. I'll get to the reason why this is not technically gluten-free, but pretty much virtually gluten-free in just a few moments. Last week, to celebrate the beginning of fall 2024, I made an autumn polenta dish, and that was super fun. I loved it, and I decided I wanted to continue the trend of autumn dishes, so this week I'm making this batch of hash brown cottage pie. Before I dive into the recipe, I first wanted to unbox the brand new oven-safe cast iron skillet that I'm using to make this hash brown cottage pie. I'm very excited to show you what this looks like. I went with an autumn color. Oh my gosh, okay. There it is. There's an ingredient in here. It's actually the one that makes this entire dish technically not gluten-free. It's Marmite. I've heard so much about this from my UK and Aussie and New Zealander subscribers and people who tune into my lives. I'm so excited to use this, but this does contain wheat. So therefore, this dish technically is not gluten-free entirely. All right. Isn't this gorgeous? The color of this dish just reminded me of fall colors, like when a maple tree is turning colors and it looks like it's on fire. I just loved this. I couldn't resist this particular color. So yeah, on to the ingredients now. All right, now we've got all 19 of the ingredients going into this hash brown cottage pie ready to go right here at my countertop. So let's go through each of them one by one super quickly. First up, we have this 20-ounce bag of pre-made shredded hash browns. There's also 8 ounces of baby Bella mushrooms, 1 chopped yellow onion, 1 cup of these baby carrots, which I already have been snacking on quite a bit, 14 ounces of uncooked brown lentils, 3 chopped cloves of garlic, 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 3 tablespoons of unsweetened almond milk, 3 tablespoons of tamari, which is brewed soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons of Marmite, which is an ingredient I've never ever used before. I've never held it in my hands until this very moment, so I'm very excited to finally eat some Marmite. 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, 1 teaspoon of yellow mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of celery salt, 3 cups of vegetable soup base, and the way I'll make the base is to use 3 teaspoons of this Better Than Bouillon base, and I'll stir it into 3 cups of water, 2 bay leaves, and finally some salt and pepper to taste. I'll admit this is a pretty stacked recipe. I normally don't have 19 ingredients. It's closer to like 10, maybe even less than 10, but honestly, the recipe steps aren't too complicated. Everything comes together beautifully in the recipe, so we can do this, guys. Before I get into the recipe steps though, I wanted to quickly highlight this beautiful vegan cookbook that my sister gifted to me for my birthday last month. This is where this recipe comes from. The recipe book is called Anything You Can Cook, I Can Cook Vegan, and this is the very first recipe I'm using in here. I'm so excited. I flipped through this quickly and the photos are stunning. I find photos to be super, super helpful, and I'll give you a quick look at how this cottage pie is supposed to turn out. This is what I'm aiming for. I think I can get close to this image. There's 10 recipe steps to this hash brown cottage pie. For step number 1, I'm gonna chop the baby Bella mushrooms and the carrots. As you can tell, I had some time to prep a few things here. I chopped the onion and I chopped the garlic. I just wanted to dive into this episode to be fully transparent, so I still have some veg to prep. For step number 2, I'm gonna heat 3 tablespoons of the extra virgin olive oil in my beautiful casserole pot, and then I'll add in the chopped veg, so the onion, the garlic, the carrots, the mushrooms, as well as the brown lentils and the celery salt. I'll stir those ingredients together in the casserole pot and fry them for about 5 minutes until the veggies are nice and soft. For step number 3, I'll mix in the gluten-free flour, the bay leaves, the yellow mustard, the Marmite, the tomato paste, the tamari, and the balsamic vinegar, and combine everything together in the casserole pot. For step number 4, I'll pour in the 3 cups of veggie soup base. I'll bring the mixture up to a boil, then I'll reduce it down to low heat and let it all simmer for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes are up, I'll move on to step number 5, which is to add a pinch of salt and a few twists of ground black pepper into the casserole pot and remove it from heat. For step number 6, I'll prepare the hash brown topping for the cottage pie in a separate bowl. I'll do that by hand mixing the entire bag of hash browns along with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of almond milk, a bit of salt, and a few twists of ground black pepper. Then I'll move on to step number 7, which is to evenly sprinkle the hash brown topping over the liquid mixture in the casserole pot. For step number 8, I'll place the casserole pot into my oven and bake it for 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit until the hash brown topping is looking crispy and golden brown. For step number 9, I'll remove the casserole pot from my oven and let it cool for about 20 minutes. And then for step number 10, I'll show you a close-up of the finished hash brown cottage pie, dish up a serving for myself, dig in, and let you know what I think. Now that we've gone through all the ingredients and all the recipe steps for this hash brown cottage pie, let's get started with step number 1, which is to chop up the baby bella mushrooms and the baby carrots. I'm loving the look of this hash brown cottage pie, especially in this blazing orange casserole pot. I wasn't expecting the cottage pie to be as bubbly as it was in the oven. It actually bubbled up and over the edge of the casserole pot, and there were a few drips on the bottom of the oven, but that's totally fine. There was only the tiniest whiff of pot pie filling being burned on the bottom of the oven. Otherwise, everything turned out beautifully. Let me give you a close-up of this before I dig in. Isn't that just stunning? I wanted to get the hash browns as brown as possible on the top without actually burning them. Okay, I think I've got like a decent chunk. I think I'm losing a bit of the lentils, so let me actually go at this with a spoon. I think that is the more strategic option. Ooh, that is coming apart. Yikes. Don't worry, I'll clean up after myself. There's some really beautiful color in here. You've got the brown lentils, you've got the carrot pieces, the onions, and then this beautiful brown color that's coming from the tamari as well as the balsamic vinegar. Now time to dig into this good stuff. I'm gonna get a large, lovely spoonful of this cottage pie. I briefly forgot just how many mushrooms go into the filling, and it gives this dish a really nice meaty texture as kind of a substitute of the regular mincemeat you would have in traditional shepherd's pie or cottage pie. I find this dish so homey and comforting. It really fills you up. It's so savory, full of flavor, and I can't think of a better season to eat this than during autumn. That's everything for today's vegan hash brown cottage pie recipe episode. Let me know what you thought of this recipe down in the comment section. I read every single comment that you leave for me. It's so fun to hear your feedback, so don't shy away. Let me know what you thought, and also feel free to suggest any recipes that I haven't featured on this channel so far. If you like this recipe and are looking for other dishes to make during autumn, I'm talking the dishes that feature comfort foods like corn, mushrooms, potatoes, then I have 2 recipes linked for you at the end of this video. One of the recipes is harvest veggie polenta, which is corn porridge, and the second recipe is vegan poutine, which features baked potato strips, mushroom gravy, and tofu-based non-dairy cheese. Definitely check out either or both of those recipes. I think you'll find it's the perfect kind of food for a chilly autumn day. That's it for today's episode. So take care, my lovely foodies, eat well, and I will see you in the next episode on this channel. Bye!